What's going on, guys? We're in Brooklyn right now, the Dingleberry of New York City, and we're gonna be checking out the 7 Artisans 50mm 1.8 for the Micro Four Thirds system. We're shooting with the Panasonic G7 right now, so we're gonna take some pictures and see how it comes out. When it comes to buying lenses, you have 3 tiers of lenses to usually choose from. You have your first party lenses. If you have a Canon camera, you have your Canon lenses. If you have a Sony camera, you have your Sony lenses, and that's usually going to give you the best results when it comes to both the sharpness of the image and the autofocus performance. And below that, you have the third-party companies. Now with the third-party companies, you have companies like Sigma, Tamron, and those companies are going to be similar to the first-party lenses, but they're usually going to be a lot cheaper. But at the same time, the image quality is usually pretty like up to par with it. Like for example, with my Sony cameras, I shoot mainly with Tamron, Sony, Rokinon lenses on them because they are a lot more affordable, but they also give you pretty much the same results. The Sony lenses are going to be a little bit better, but they're like double the price, so I usually not end up getting them. But below that, at the bottom, you also have your Chinese lens companies. For example, we have 7 Artisans lens that we're going to be taking a look at today, which is this lens right over here. Now this is a very small Micro Four Thirds lens. Now this is a 25mm 1.8, so at a Micro Four Thirds camera like this one right here, this Panasonic G7 camera that I tested it out with, it's going to be around a 50mm 3.6. You have to double the crop factor into it. So when you put this lens on this camera right here, it's a really nice compact setup. And the beautiful thing about this lens right here is that it's very affordable. This lens right here is only $70. Yes, $70 for a 50mm 1.8 lens. And is it a perfect lens? No, it's not. There's a lot of problems with this lens, but honestly, for the price, it's pretty good. So for doing photography, this lens is pretty good actually. The image quality and the sharpness out of it is actually really nice. And also how the lens feels is also really nice. The lens is made out of fully metal. Like if we tap on it right here, it's fully metal. It's not plastic at all. Let's get a close-up going on right here. It's a fully metal body design. And on this lens right here, you can see everything is nicely labeled on there. So it's a pretty nice lens, and it feels nice in the hand also. And it also looks nice on your camera when you put it on there. You don't just have a plastic lens. And when it comes to the aperture, it's a 1.8 lens, so it is pretty fast. And you do get a lot of bokeh with it, which is really nice, as you can see in these images. The image quality is nice out of camera. So when it comes to photography, it's a pretty nice lens if you want a nice cheap lens to use with it. But the decision you do have to make is that this is a manual focus only lens, and that's why it's so affordable. And also it does make the lens a lot smaller and lighter. Now when it comes to manual focusing, personally, I'm not a huge fan of manual focusing lenses. Because most of the stuff I shoot, like for example, for professional work, I mainly shoot fashion. And then for doing even like hobbyist stuff, if I'm doing street photography, if I'm just walking around with friends or whatever, and I want to take some pictures, I usually like to shoot really fast. Like whenever I do both professional and personal work, I like to work really fast, and manual focus does really slow me down. So, and because of those reasons, I never really shoot with manual lenses. But this lens was actually the first lens that I did buy for this camera when I first got into photography. So if you're looking for like a first lens, this is not a terrible lens. It's just that it's manual focus, so it's just not going to be the best lens for that. Also, shouts out to Mark Doyle Photography. He's a way better photographer than I'll ever be, and a better man too. Now when it comes to doing videography with this lens, it is kind of a mixed bag. First of all, if you're behind the camera and you're just manual focusing, it's fine for that. It's like any other, manual focus lens. The only thing is that for manual focusing with this lens, you have to like pull and push this part right here, this focus wheel. So it's kind of hard to do it, and it's kind of stiff, and also you have a really short throw, so it's hard to get critical focus with this lens. But once you do get in focus, if you're just recording someone talking or anything, it's fine for that stuff. It's nothing crazy for it. If you're in front of the camera, I don't think it's gonna work out that well. I tried to shoot 2 videos right here. As you can see, both of them were autofocus. When it comes to the video quality of this microphone, so when it comes to the video quality of this lens, I mean, it's not bad. It's just manual focus lens. So if you have a camera that doesn't autofocus that well, and you're gonna use manual focus lenses with it anyways, then it's not a bad lens to use, honestly. Alright, I'm gonna make this quick because I'm sweating my ass off in my room right now. But when it comes to the focusing with this lens, it's not too hard. It has a small throw on it, so it's kind of hard to get exact focus on it, but it is made out of like high quality metal, so it's not too bad. So if it's like your first lens to buy to like shoot something that looks somewhat professional, then this is a pretty good lens to buy it. But if you do get it in focus, it does look pretty nice as long as you have a decent camera. And a lot of these Panasonic Micro Four Thirds cameras are actually really nice for doing videos. So if you're behind the camera, that's not bad. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, this is a pretty nice lens. If you're just looking for a cheap lens to start out with your Panasonic camera, this is a decent option. But I would recommend just getting an autofocus Nifty 50 lens, and I'll have a link for those in the description for this camera or any other Micro Four Thirds camera. I'll put both Panasonic and the Olympus versions out there, because with the autofocus, if you want to do any video, especially if you're going to be in front of it, it will make it a lot easier to do. Even if you're not in front of the camera, if you're behind the camera, a lot of these cameras have touch focus where you can just, let's say you're going to be shooting a person, you can just click on the person's face and then it'll focus on their face directly besides having to manual focus it. I think manual focus just slows things down too much. I mean, sometimes it's necessary to do so, but it's better to have the luxury of just shooting autofocus, even though the autofocus version of this lens, I think, is like, let's actually check how much it is, okay? All right, we checked the, yeah, so if we get the autofocusing version right here, as you can see, it's only $147, while this one is $70. So you will be paying double, but in my opinion, it's kind of worth it, to be honest. I'd rather get this than the other one. And let's see how much it is used, because used is like $127, and you might be able to get it even cheaper on eBay or something for like $100 or something. So in that scenario, I would recommend it. Now they do have a version of this lens that's even better. I believe it's a Panasonic 1.4. Yeah, right here, and that one does cost a little bit more. That one's around $547. That's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I also know the Olympus version of this lens is really nice, which is going to be the 25 1.8. My cats are fighting, just ignore them. And that one is going to be $400, but you can get it used for $200. So I would get this one if you can get your hands on it. Obviously, there's also a 1.2 version of this lens by Olympus, and that one is $1,400. That's a little bit more. So it's going to depend on your budget, but if you just want a 50mm lens just to mess around with, and you know you're going to be manual focusing, then it's not a bad option at all. The pictures out of it do come out really nice, and you can also do video with it also, just as long as you're willing to manual focus. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you liked it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I make videos about cameras and lenses every single day, so you can check out my other videos. And also, if you're interested in buying any of these lenses, check my Amazon affiliate links in the bottom below. You can click them. It does help the channel. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.